Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk tonight a little bit about Scott Adkins. Now, many of you who have been following my reviews for all these decades know that for some time, from 1979 to 1986, I was part of the championship team that toured the martial arts pro circuit here in Western Pennsylvania. Some really good martial artists on that team: Don Guerin, Bill Edwards, Curtis Jordan, just to name a few. And when obviously martial arts movies were very big in my house. So when my children were smaller, they would always say, "Dad, do you fight like that?" And they'd point to Chuck Norris, and I'd go, "No." "Hey, Dad, do you fight like that?" "No." Jet Li or Bruce Lee. "So, Dad, what do you fight like?" Well, eventually a movie came out called The Ninja with Scott Adkins. And I said, the fighting in this movie best exemplifies the type of fighting your dad does. So if you watch this movie, you'll have an idea of how Dad fights. Okay. Well, they watched it, and then I've been ridiculed ever since because they latched on to Scott Adkins and they just thought he was absolutely the world's worst actor. Okay. I gotta tell you, I got a special fondness in my heart for Scott Adkins because his first movie, he did fight an awful lot like my old traditional Japanese style. He's developed an awful lot in movies over the years, changing his style many times to fit in with the character that he's playing. So every time a Scott Adkins movie comes out, I'm all ginned up and excited about it, and my kids laugh, and they still remember that one movie, and they won't give him any. And he plays a great bad guy too. I think Scott is a better bad guy than he is a hero. You can look at him with Sly Stallone in The Expendables. Great fight with Jason Statham in that movie. But a few years back, he was doing a series of movies with Louis Mandylor. They were independent action movies, and they were a lot of fun. They were good little comedy action thrillers, and I thought they were worthwhile. And then, of course, he played that big Russian fighter, which was always good as well. Anyway, I bring that all up because guess what? Scott Adkins is back, and he is the headliner in tonight's lesson plan as cinematic class is about to begin. And your professor is it? Greetings, salutations, and other sundry affair. I am your cinematic professor and purveyor of truth in movies. And tonight's lesson plan is a film called Take Cover. Of course, it stars Scott Adkins. Now, Sam and Ken are a top-notch sniper team. Sam's the shooter, Ken's the spotter. Well, after their service in the war is done, they become a top-notch assassination team. Okay. Sam's getting a little long in the tooth. He's wanting to call it a bit quits. He's run his course. It's time to settle down a little bit. They have one last job to perform. This job seems a little bit wonky. Everything is laid out before them in very plush and cushy fashion. Something is just not adding up right. Sam is played by Scott Adkins. His partner Ken is played by Jack Parr. And the two hookers who they find in their hotel room are played by Madalena Ballaru and Alice Eve. Here's a look now at Take Cover. right, let's take a little look behind the camera on this one, shall we? Director is Nick McKinless. You know, Nick's had himself a bit of a hard time with this one. Now, he does a nice job of directing everyone, but the tools he has to work with needed a bit of refining. Let me see if I can explain. The writer is Josh James, and Josh must have realized he has Scott Adkins in the script, so he's inserted a nice collection of fight scenes. Trouble is, those fight scenes don't really seem to fit. For example, there are times when Sam is caught in the hotel room and the sniper is, in the building across the street and picking him off or trying to pick him off. So in comes one of the bad guys through the door, and this sets up a fight scene. So Sam fights the bad guy, and what happens to the sniper? It's like the sniper decides, you know what? This looks like a pretty good fight. I think I'll wait. I won't take a shot here while these guys fight. And it just doesn't fit in right. It's like, why aren't these guys getting shot? They're fighting. Director of photography on this is Rick Joachim, and our editor is Liviu Gepescu. Both of them do yeoman duty on this. And I guess if you're in a Scott Adkins movie, you've got to mention the fight choreographer, who in this is Tom Rogers. And Tom has put together some pretty decent fight scenes. I got to admit, when I was watching them, there were a few times I went, "Ooh, that's a really nice move," and they were really nice moves. So there's, like most Scott Adkins films, there's some good techniques on display, and he looks well doing them. It's just kind of unrealistic to suspect that the sniper was going to stop shooting so that they could complete this, 4 or 5 minute fight scene in the apartment complex. I think now we best peel back the veils of time and head back to the early Cretaceous period to check in with the nation's first and only prehistoric film critic, Rex.
Can fight, but this script is not suited for fighting or shooting. They try to add conflict with dialogue from one of the hookers, but it is lame and weak. Adkins cranks out a nice batch of movies, but this one is not one of his movies.
Say this one is just for true devotees of Scott Adkins films, those who like to watch his fight scenes and pick up some pretty nifty techniques. That's really about it. I mean, as far as the story and cohesiveness of what goes on there, not too much happening. We're going to Take Cover a little less than average grade on this one. Hey, don't forget that the holidays are coming up, and there are a veritable plethora of items in the official Rex Real store that make excellent holiday gifts. Go there today. Check it out. You'll be glad you did. One-stop shopping. You go to the one store, buy for everybody on your list. Everybody's happy. Don't forget to follow Rex and I along on the socials. And of course, you can watch full episodes of Outtakes with Rex Real on BPTV, the YouTube TV channel that they have established. So now that you have learned what you have learned, here endeth your lesson.